Yeah, hey everyone, Brian with you from TheGameCommon, and today we're starting another brand new series in Age of Wonders Planetfall. So, when we finished our last series, I said there was going to be more Age of Wonders Planetfall content on the channel, so here you go. Even though we put in quite a few hours, and I've already had mini series on Age of Wonders Planetfall on the channel, I still am going to treat this episode a little more tutorial-ish. So, basically, if you're new to Age of Wonders Planetfall, or if you're new to the channel and you've never seen this game, I'm going to try explaining everything that's going on because it's slightly confusing. If you've seen a bunch of Age of Wonders Planetfall, apologies that this one's going to be a little slower, but probably this first episode we're going to take it a little slower, and then from there we're probably just going to kind of go back to normal speed. Now keep in mind there might be some things that we'll just kind of breeze past accidentally in this first episode that I won't explain just because, well, you know, I put a couple hours into this game already, so a lot of things I just kind of already act without even thinking, so hopefully we'll be able to remember to explain everything. So, if you've never seen Age of Wonders Planetfall, one of my favorite strategic games that is out now, kind of the shtick with the Age of Wonders games is that not only do you get to do the strategy in the world map where you get to move your units around and build cities and, you know, improve your colonies and stuff like that and go to war with other players. In addition to that, you also get to fight the battles akin to like Total War, any of the Total War games, where essentially you get to move the units around on a separate map and basically in a battle map, essentially, and then basically say, hey, shoot this guy, move over here, shoot that guy, kind of thing. And so you can kind of determine how well your battles go versus just having some random numbers happen off screen. Age of Wonders Planetfall is, I think the fourth game in the Age of Wonders series. I don't know if there was any other ones in there, but basically the Age of Wonders series up to this point had all been fantasy settings, where Planetfall is a little more sci-fi. Well, it is sci-fi. Kind of a little more like Warhammer 40k-ish, where you kind of have like orcs in space, although there's no orcs. But there are dwarves. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and pick our planet. This essentially is just kind of the scenario we're playing. There's a campaign. We basically kind of have never played the campaign. I started it. It just didn't seem like particularly great for YouTube. So that's why we're just going to go do the scenario stuff, which is just going to play out like pretty much any other strategic game. I think we're going to end up playing Ravaged World. Each one of these worlds kind of changes the settings a little bit. Basically what spawns in and stuff like that. Practice World. Oh, interesting. I didn't even know that was in the game. But we've not played Ravaged World yet. Devastated by Cataclysm or Ancient Wars. Not entirely sure what this is going to entail, but I think everything else we're going to leave as is. I'll leave the game intensity normal. Let's see. Determines the general intensity. NPC dwelling, passivity, spawner aggression. Yeah, the spawners can already be a little annoying here. Opponent level, I think we'll keep it on very hard, which seems to be a decent enough challenge, although maybe at some point we need to bump it up. And I like medium for now as well, just because it keeps the games a little shorter, or at least the series a little shorter. And then I'm just going to do random landmass type. Now, the cool thing we can do is we can actually end up picking all the different commanders that we're playing against. I'm going to go ahead and not do that. The reason I don't like to do that is because I'd like to just be surprised about who we find. The downside is a lot of times we end up finding just like the same race over and over in our game. So hopefully we get a variation this time. So we're going to go do Ravaged World, right? Or yeah, Ravaged World. Okay. Now, the cool thing about this game is there are a bunch of different races. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different races. Each race plays completely different. We'll go ahead and customize it. So every race is a little bit different. You got like the Assembly, which are more AI based. They're cyborg. You have the Devar, which essentially are dwarves in space. The Kir'ko, who we're going to be playing today, which are basically kind of like bug aliens. And each one plays out quite differently. And every alien race has its own tech tree. So its own techs, even though all the techs are kind of equivalent. Like, hey, everyone gets, you know, a flying unit. As like their 5th tech or something like that. But they're all a little bit different from the stats that they start a little bit differently. They have different weapon groups, which essentially is the kind of damage it does, where like certain weapon types do better against like shields, where certain weapon types do better against armor, and so on and so forth. So they all play out a little bit differently. The Kir'ko, we get to start with 2 emergent units, so we start with a few more units. We have less unit upkeep for tier 1, tier 2 units. So think of these guys kind of like the Zerg from StarCraft. They're all about swarming, which, you know, hey, we're bugs. We get the bioweapon group, which are pretty strong against, they can change the damage channel of attacks of modded units. They slow, immobilize melted armor. And then let's see. I think we're basically more for just like doing damage against a non mechanical units, I think would be the best way. And then we have Psi, which essentially is kind of like you can kind of break their mind and make them go crazy and stuff like that. Rapid population growth and large armies, biological units with good melee capacity, racial abilities, swarm shields, and faster regeneration. So essentially, out of combat, we regenerate a little bit quicker, and swarm shields, essentially, if our units are kind of in close proximity to each other when we're fighting battles, they basically get bonus shields. Now, in addition to being able to pick your race in the game, you can also pick your secret technology. Now, the secret technologies are independent of whatever race you are. So we could be a Shakaran playing as Synthesis, or we could be a Kir'ko playing as Synthesis. And each one of these secret technologies gives you a slightly different buff. And in addition to having your race tech tree, you're also going to have your secret technology tech tree, which is going to give you additional unique units and kind of determines, and basically kind of, I'd say, further refines how your units or how your race plays. And so that's kind of cool, because you can have Kir'ko Synthesis and you can have Kir'ko Void Tech, and both are going to play out quite differently. And so even though there might be other Kir'ko on the in the game with us, they might play out completely differently just because they have a different secret technology. Now, when you meet people, you don't necessarily see their secret technology right away, which is why it's secret technology, but it's not hard to figure it out. So I think we're going to play Synthesis today because we've yet to actually play Synthesis. Let's see. They manipulate AIs to their advantage, hacking and compromising systems for their own gain. We get to start with the unit Hacker. We deploy AI Daemons in battle, hack and override enemy mechanical units, bolster strategic operations, integrate the populace into the network, uses the arc and kinetic damage channels. So this is kind of interesting because these guys are all about biological. These are all about mechanical. So I feel like we're going to have a really good balance here. So then in addition to that, for our particular race, we can pick some different perks. We can take some negatives, some vices, basically, to give us more points, so we can choose different things. I think we're just going to go with basic equipment. I want to do veteran, just so we get a couple extra levels. And then I like the military detachment, because this basically starts you with a few extra units. And then we're going to take no vice. Normally, I take a vice and then maybe go support vehicle. Or assault vehicle, support vehicle. Huh. You know, I don't think I've ever recognized that there's a support vehicle in the game. Start. I wonder if that's new. I don't remember seeing that. Anyways, normally I go into the assault vehicle, but we should be able to pick it up pretty quick. And in fact, since we're veteran, we actually should be able to just go buy a vehicle right away. It's just going to cost us money. And then we don't have to take a vice. The vice essentially has positives and negatives for your race. But in addition to that, it can also screw up an enemy commander's opinion of you. Because they might be like, oh, you're really cruel, and we don't like that. So we're gonna try being friendly bugs, I think, to begin with, at least. So I think we're good to go here. At this point, then we can go ahead and pick our dude at this point. I don't know if there's anything spectacular we want to do with you. I kind of like, you know, is there a buggy thing? I mean, that one kind of looks like a bug, a swarm, right? Like, we very much want, like, swarm. That also, I like that one. That one's very swarmish. And we'll be the kind of aggressive looking one. And then give me definitely the horns. Eyes. We'll just go with like purple eye. Oh, blue eyes, dude. Those are intense. And then, ooh, yeah. Oh, cowboy hat, yeah. We already did cowboy hat though. Give me the mandibles. Yeah, I think so. As the horns? Oh, no. Those are the mandibles. What about just the single one? Can you stop looking side to side, buddy? You're getting kind of annoying. Yeah, I'm trying to see what is the creepiest. I mean, that's like Predator-like there. I think we'll live with that. And then let's get something that says, hey, don't screw with me. Something like that. And then I also want don't screw with me legs. Sure. Head item. Give ourselves an eye patch. We'll just be blind. Technological bugs, or bugs wearing sunglasses. Oh yeah, man. What is that? Oh, that is creepy. Those are like hands? All right, yeah, let's do it. And then for tail, give me just like a freaking cool tail here. So we got 3 different tails. I kind of like the first split one, sure. And then wings. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Give me the claw. Dude, we're going straight StarCraft here apparently. And then skin color, blue. Sure, why not? Okay, so what color do we want to do over here? We decide we want to do kind of something a little colorful because it's hard to see yourself in the minimap unless you have some color to it. So how about something like that? Sure. And then what kind of bug name do we want? Mural Polden? Tavok Nye? Tavok Sarix? Odin, Aston, Rick Nadik. Wait, what? Nadak. Rick Nadik. That's actually great. Riki Nadran. Rick Sarix. Rick Riddick. Rick Riddick Ridiculous. Perfect. Let's go. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and launch in the game. We'll get the nice little tutorial. Dude, I kind of dig the purple colors. That looks kind of sweet. Yeah, it's nice. Swarmland of the unshackled Kir'ko. I do not know how your insectoid emotions work, but let me say the wrath of vengeance do not lead to salvation. Okay. So apparently, I think the whole storyline is like there was one great empire that spanned the stars, and now it's like broken up, and so all these different races are fighting against each other, essentially for domination. We're just on one particular world fighting with everyone else. Okay, so we get to start with a bunch of different units. Every unit has a different tier here, so you'll see like at top, well, we'll just here. So it's like a tier 2 unit. So this is going to be better than a tier 1 unit. I think it goes up to like tier 5 and stuff like that. In addition to that, every unit has different weapons, and you can see what kind of attacks it does. We got like repeating attacks there. We got a single action attack, which we'll get into that when we're actually fighting. In addition to that, you can see that these guys are arc damage. Then you see their HP. You got your movement speed. This is the movement on the campaign map. And then you got armor and shields, so on and so forth. And then stuff down here just kind of gives you a little bit of more knowledge about it. So these are integrated, which means they integrate with synthesis technology. We're cyborg, we're infantry, we're Kir'ko. So every once in a while you'll see something where it's like, hey, bonus against cyborg units. And so, hey, you know, okay. These guys also start with the swarm shield, which is cool. Because if they spawn next to my guy, or if we keep them next to our guy, then everyone next to another swarm shield units get +2 shield. So we're going to want to kind of keep our guys together as much as possible. Okay, we got those guys. These are because of our synthesis technology. Then these guys are all our Kir'ko units. These are hidden. They use side damage. They're snipers. Then we got the Transcendent. These guys do some side strike. They also have psionic mending, which is great, so they're heals. And then we got our 2 basic frenzied Kir'ko units. These are basically base units. They shoot a poison shot, and then they also got rending claws. They're melee troops, so they're kind of eh. Okay, then over here, let's see. We got these buddies here, which are the Emergence. Rapid evolution, 50 more experience when victory in combat. Okay, so they do have metamorphosis. So what this means is when they fully level, so every units get XP out of combat, when these guys fully level up, they'll actually metamorphosis into a new unit, which is better than what they currently are. So they're crap right now, but they can be a lot better. And then these are scouts? Yeah, then these 2 are scouts. So this is our map right here. This is our first city. Every city has different stats to it. Let's see, we got our food. The more food you have, the more growth. We have energy, which is essentially the income in the game. You have production. Production's how quickly you pop out units and buildings in there. Science is basically how quickly you go through the text. There's 2 different tech things, which we'll talk about next turn. And then every city has happiness. When you don't have enough happiness, then bad things happen. When you have a lot of happiness or a surplus, then you get positive events. Like, hey, you get a bonus energy this turn and stuff like that, which will have happen in 6 turns. Right now, we're not building anything in our original town. We will go ahead and build out a central reactor core, which essentially, when we're done, is going to, you can only build one of these 4. We always start with the central reactor core. This essentially is going to give us 10 extra energy in our capital, which, you know, I feel like energy is really important early game. Now, on the map, we have a bunch of different things. Number 1, we have some of these NPC units. There are basically Marauder units, and then there's regular NPC units that are part of specific factions. These guys are basically a neutral faction. We hadn't technically met them yet. And so these guys, eventually, we can do quests for once we find their base. In addition to that, we can actually have them join our army. We can get some of their units, or we can declare war on them and go conquer them. But in addition to just like the Sci-Fi faction, there's like what I think 8 different neutral NPC factions, something like that. But in addition to that, then there's also these marauding factions. These guys you can't participate with, you can't do anything with. They essentially just kind of take up territory. They're good for farming XP. Sometimes you'll see them be on top of spawners, which essentially spawns out units which are going to come and attack you. So these guys can't do anything but kill them. So we are going to want to go move them off. Here's more marauders. These guys are actually on top of a research station. So these little things right here, every one of these different sectors, you can actually either as your city gets larger and larger, you can start putting these different sectors inside the territory of this city, or as you build more colonizers, then you can actually go colonize on these different sectors. So you can't basically put a city wherever you want. You kind of have to stick to these different sectors, but every different sector kind of has different things going in it, and some of them have these different buildings that once you get rid of the units that are occupying it, it'll give you a boost. So for example, if we grabbed this sector here and we cleared this out and we connected it, then we get an additional 10 knowledge to the colony. And if we do a research exploitation, which is just something you can do with your different sectors, you can basically say, hey, I want this sector to focus on science. If we do that, then we get an extra 5 knowledge. So that's one thing we're going to want to do. We're eventually going to want to grab this as well, but instead of killing the units that are on it, we're going to ask them to leave. So anyways, we can upgrade our commander. We got different XP. We're going to go ahead and give him piloting right away, which is going to, which is going to allow him to actually drive vehicles, which is going to basically give him more damage to begin with. We're going to take Archaeology Adept. There are different archaeology sites that you can interact with, and when you have the Archaeology Adept, you get basically a butt ton of XP from it. And I think we're just gonna go grab Vitality right away, just for a little bit of XP. Now, every unit you can also mod. We don't have any mods yet, but that can actually heavily improve your units. So a level 1 unit that's fully modded might be just as good as a level 3 unit. Okay, so we want you to grab the vehicle. Your vehicle is apparently a bug. That seems fine. And you have the Systone of Dissonance. All right, well, that's going to cost us 60 energy. Sure, take the bug. Let's do it. And now let's take some orders. But first things first, let's go send our scouts out. And so essentially there are these different resource points. So if we kick this unit off, we would go ahead and get this crash research ship pickup. Now, unfortunately, there's units on it, so we're gonna have to take the army and go clear it out. But there are some places, pickups that don't have any units on it. So essentially that's what we're looking for right now with our scouts. It's trying to find some free money, essentially. Yeah, see, he's on some stuff as well. I think this one's actually empty, is it not? Nope, that one has a unit on it as well. What is this thing? Oh, so that's your first spawner. If reactivated, bunker deadly reapers that now hunt aimlessly. If neglected, the reapers will attack nearby colonies. Now, what's the reaper bunker actually do, I wonder, when it's in your city? I don't know. So eventually we're going to want to go kill that spawner before, you know, it starts attacking us, but it's going to be a minute before we can get there. So we're going to go ahead and take our army, and let's go ahead and go into a fight right away with these bug dudes. With these pig dudes, rather. So you can see that every battle gives you an estimation. Hey, defender power is 480. We're at 1125. So it's a very low risk battle. So we can either manually fight it or we can auto combat. The nice thing is if you auto combat and you don't like the results, you can always retry it and fight it manually. Normally we fight the first one. I just hit auto just to kind of show. And then this is the battle map mode. So defenders always move first. A couple things to note is some units have range, some units have melee. I think all of these guys are melee except these little piggies here. They have a little bit of a range. These guys are all really low level units except the Megaso. He's a little tankier, but everyone else is pretty weak sauce here. So we should be able to get through this pretty easily. Other thing is we have a bunch of different icons down here. We have move, we have rotate, which based on what way you're facing, you could potentially get flanked and you take bonus damage if you're being flanked. So you got to be careful on that. Then number 3 is always your basic attack. Most units it's going to be range, but some units it's going to be melee. Then number 4 is always the defensive mode, which essentially makes you harder to hit. You take less damage and you can't be flanked. Actually, you don't take less damage, you're just harder to hit. Interesting. And then after that, you got random abilities. Every unit has different random abilities based on who it is and what kind of techs and what kind of upgrades and, you know, mods and stuff you have. So we're gonna go ahead and move forward. The best thing to do in the game is to basically let the AI come at you. So once again, we are gonna put ourselves open for flanking, but it's okay because we're gonna essentially defend ourselves. And we want everyone to stay close that has Swarm Shield. You don't have Swarm Shield, right? No, so we can move you a little further away. The other thing is there is a cover system in the game, which makes it harder for you to get hit if you're behind cover. He does have Swarm Shield. He also has Swarm Shield. We should have actually rotated these two, because these are the melee dudes. He's going to have to get out, and that could be a problem. But for now, that'll be okay. And then we're just going to get you guys all the way over here as far as possible, just to get you to potentially join in. I don't think I'll put you there, even though you won't get the swarm shield. Now, shields reduce the amount of damage taken, but melee attacks ignore shields. But armor does reduce the amount of melee damage taken. So shields aren't going to be super helpful against these melee guys, or at least swarm shields, but, you know. So they're coming first. They're going to get some attacks on us, but they're not going to put themselves in defensive mode, so it's going to be really hard for them to not just get absolutely destroyed by us. Now, keep in mind, we do have... so everyone has 3 actions, and you can see... I forgot to actually talk about it. So you have the green, which essentially is a free move. I can move anywhere in this green, and it wouldn't cost any of my action points. Then I can move anywhere in the blue, and that would cost 1 of my action points. Purple then is 2, and then if we go into the red, it's a full move. But then at that point, you can't do any of your attacks. Now, every attack has different cost associated to it. So you can see the battle vomit cost 1 action. The thing is, if I use the attack though, that uses my entire turn. Now melee is a repeating attack. So if I actually meleeed one of these troops, actually this is a better unit because it's repeating. So if I shoot him, I actually would be shooting him 3 different times because it has a repeating attack and I have 3 total actions, which is kind of nice. Most of our units though are only going to have single attacks because, you know, hey, we're Kir'ko. So his sniper, his Psi rifle will actually cost a full 3 attack. The downside is because we actually got attacked by him, he staggered us, which means we lost 1 of our action points. So now we're going to have to take the snapshot, which does significantly less damage. Well, 6 less damage. These guys, since they're flying, are a little harder to hit, and this little guy has a thing called skitter, which also makes him kind of hard to hit. So this is kind of annoying, just FYI. We also have AoE attacks, which is quite nice. And I'm basically just trying to figure out what we're going to do here. Can you spit in the air? Yes, you can. So once again, we're going to want to look to flank. Now, he's defending, so you can see it's kind of hard to hit him. And control shows, so you can see because he's flying, it's 10% harder to hit. He also is in defensive mode, which is another 25%. And because we're so far away, we're getting a 40% negative. So that's why we only have a 15% chance to hit him. I think I'm going to go ahead and bring this guy. Let's try here and see if I can actually shoot. Okay, so if I can go ahead and shoot both of these guys, I think this is worth it. We're doing a little extra damage on the front guy because we're flanking him. And then we have a chance to actually choke them with this attack, with this particular ability. So choking means that for 1 turn, he's less accurate and he deals 25% less damage. So, you know, hey, nice, nice. Gonna move you up here. You're in cover. That's a 55%. That's a 20%. That's a 70%. I think I'm gonna go for the big guy at this point. I think we're gonna try killing him off. And we can go throw this poison attack here again. And basically, like I said, we're just trying to eliminate him. And you're not gonna go in cover, but I think that's okay. And essentially, I'm just trying to do enough damage here so that you can get the kill. Now, it's 80% per attack, so I theoretically could have hit with 2 of the attacks and then missed the 3rd attack. So that is feasible. Now, this is where things get rather interesting because you're gonna have to move around. Because my melee dudes aren't going to be able to hit him. I might be able to take him around and attack the pig here. So I'm going to move you there. We're not going to attack. That was a free move, so it didn't cost anything. I do get the flank here. Unfortunately, though, I didn't get the kill. So we're going to have to see. We'll want to kill units. You usually want to finish a unit off if at all possible. I'll take 3 55s. So we didn't quite get the kill. So we have 2 guys that have not made an attack. Our leader and our sniper. So we should be able to kill. Take the 55 and hope we get the kill. We did, and then that's a 50%. Really? Small target, and he's got skitter. Ugh. Is this attack any better? That's a 45. That's 100%. What does this do? Wax cement. Encases and causes a stagger instead. All right, well, we'll just shoot this one. And it's 100%, so he's dead. We also encased him. I think that means he just can't move. All right, so he's got one guy left. So it's unlikely we're gonna lose any units. He is gonna hit our dude again. No, I think we're gonna lose our sniper. Woo! Our sniper lived with like 1 HP. Okay, that sucks. So these melee guys are not gonna be able to do anything right now, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So since he doesn't have a repeating shot, we're gonna go ahead and move him up here. The green basically means that you're 80 plus chance of hitting. And we're also doing flanking damage here too. So I don't know if we can actually get it lower than 80. It's 10% for flying, so why wouldn't it be 90? I wonder if maybe by default it's just 90%. Although sometimes you can get 100, so. All right, we didn't lose any units, although our dude took quite a bit of damage. He has 1 HP left. Whew. He will heal over time, and we did end up picking up whatever was on that territory, which I don't know. Objective report. So there's a bunch of different ways to win the game. You can do a score victory after 150 turns. Usually the game's over way before then. Or you could finish any one of these trees. This one's essentially killing everyone or allying and then killing everyone who's not your ally. This one's doing a doomsday tech, which we'll show you here in a second. Basically, it's just kind of like a tech victory. And then unity is essentially just being friends with everyone that's alive, which I guess technically is military too, but you know, whatever. I guess military is technically killing everyone, right? Sure, whatever. Okay, so we leveled up again with our big hero. We got 5 skill points. What do we want to do with him now? Fury of the Storm is nice, so adjacent units with Swarm Shield also gets the 20% damage on their attacks. And then we could do 1 additional shield to Swarm Shield. Yeah, I'm good with that. Now we want to start saving some points because we do want to get him advanced piloting, which is quite expensive, but that's a level 6. So I think we'll save some points from level 5 because you get 5 per level. So we'll have to save over 3 from level 5 so we can afford that at level 6. Now the thing is, we probably won't get the tech in time, but all right, let's go ahead and advance. That's our turn. And so it's turn-based. So we advance our turn, the AI all takes their turn kind of thing. I think the player technically goes last. Don't quote me on that. But now we can pick both of our techs. We got 2 different tech trees. We got military, we got society. Military, in the top, you can see there are a couple things here. We got the biochemical. These are all of the biochemical attacks we can do, or techs we can get, and then the psionic techs. And then we got the Kir'ko stuff that's up here. And so from here, you can see all the different units we can unlock. Here is our tier 3 unit, which is then actually our tier 2 vehicle that we can pick up. We got a ship over here. These are mods. These are all mods. This is a tier 5 unit. Nice. Huh. Roger. That looks kind of cool. Then this is what, a tier 6? He's scary. Dude, can we make that a vehicle? We can actually make that a vehicle. Dude, that's nice. And then what's our top tier unit here? Return of the Harbinger. Oh, he's creepy. Oh my god, dude. I don't know if we've ever seen these guys. I think I've seen him before. But yeah, that's our top tier unit. And what are you? Oh, you're just mods. Okay. In addition to that, we also have some units down here that are based on the synthesis. And so this is the top synthesis unit. So keep in mind, if someone else is out there in synthesis, they will also have access to this unit. So, you know, you might end up fighting some of the same units. In addition to that, you can take over other people's colonies. So for example, if the AI, which might be the dwarves, if they take over one of our colonies, that's Kir'ko, they can actually build Kir'ko units out. Which is kind of interesting. Got a hacker. So this is our hacker unit that we spawned with, but you can see we actually can't even build this unit yet because it's actually starting there. So what are we going to do with our tech? Well, we kind of want to get down here to the bombs. So these are different, what are these called? Tactical operations. So during combat, you can actually call in tactical operations if you have the points and if you have the money. And essentially what this does... Oh, that's actually cost 3. We can actually do it. This is like a bomb that you can basically drop on the AI. Since we can't run that right away, we might as well go up here for heals. Where's our extra tactical points? Or is that in society? Oh, that's down in society. Yeah, we'll still go for it. This is the bomb, right? Yeah, so then we'll start with the biochemical, and this gives us 2 different mods. This is biochemical attacks, then can melt armor. And then tactical operation we can basically slow units, which, If you notice where it says like 8 strength, basically that is kind of then determined by their resistance. So if they have a high resistance, you'll want a higher number to counteract it, kind of thing. So he healed a decent amount, but not a whole lot. Do we want to go for the spawner? Yeah, probably, but I think at this point, let's... Depending if we should... let's just clear this guy off. Oh yeah, and there's actually a free thing right there. Yeah. So we'll take you up here. We got to be careful with our sniper. I actually think I'm going to remove my sniper because I just want to auto this battle for the sake of time. And I'm pretty sure if we put our sniper in this battle, he would actually, and autoed it, he would probably die. Because usually that's what happens if any unit's pretty low HP, they tend to die. So because we cleared it out, we got a little bit of extra science. So you can see our science ticked up. And then when we exploit this sector, we will also get the benefit of the extra research as well. Also, then we have the society tree, which we forgot to talk about. This is more like benefiting your society as a whole, like your cities and stuff like that. And in addition to that, we're going to go ahead and grab, I think, we usually grab colonizer right away. But I was looking, and I think I kind of like this nurturing. So the other thing you can do is you can actually do doctrines, and these are basically things that you implement, and then they're good until you basically shut them off. They basically just keep running in the background. So this doctrine, for example, the new generations are our future, so the larger the new generation is, the better. All owned colonies benefit from an increase of 20% income. So if we do that, basically all of our incomes get an extra, or all of our colonies get an extra 20 food income. I think we're gonna go ahead and roll this. Also, because we got the brood cluster here, where is a building, and then basically every colony uses 50% of their food income as production, which is quite nice, So we want a high food then, because we can build out units a little quicker. All right, so we want to go grab this tile. You can just chill right now. I don't have really much else to do over here. We'll go explore by here. The spawners aren't going to start spawning units for a little bit. So we got a little bit of time to go over there and clear it out. You can see here's some more of the NPC faction, the Sci-Fish. Usually there are 2 in every single game. These are teleporters, which if you hop in it, you can just teleport into the other area, which is, you know, nice. But yeah, we're still just kind of like searching around. I think since we got that teleporter over here, I think I'm going to go bring you in a different direction then. Yeah, let's bring you down this way. And we actually found the coastline. Okay. And you can see these are just more things that just have more basically pickups, goodies that have NPCs on them. So you can move one more tile. In that case, then we can do that and that. Sweet. We'll go grab that. And then I think we're going to come loop around here and then go up there. It's going to be a little harder to move through the mountains, but it is what it is. So who's actually the quickest in this group? So you actually have a 40 speed, so I think I'm just going to send this one unit there. Pick up the energy reward, so then I can send everyone else over towards these guys. And theoretically, since he's a little quicker, yeah, we could just swap these units right now, then put you in that army. There you go. So next turn, we should be able to clear that out. We might even go grab that and then come hit the spawner. Yeah, we'll see. So early game, we're basically just trying to explore. We've not met anyone else yet. This is another spawner. This is an NPC marauder. You can tell from the red that they're marauders, which means they're going to attack us. But because this is a sea spawner, as long as we don't have anything in the water, we're not going to have to worry about being attacked by it. So we're just going to kind of avoid the water for now. Let's go ahead and hop in here. We'll teleport just to see what's over here. Ooh, nice. So this is a war monument. Now, these are monuments that you have to actually enter. You can only take one army in. That's the other thing I didn't mention, but you notice that we actually had multiple armies attack. So if you have armies around, you could theoretically attack a army on the map with, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 armies if you could surround it. But these monuments, you can only bring in one army, and they tend to have really high level units inside it. And if you're able to clear it out, you get a huge boost to whatever colony is there. So that's nice. And this is volcanic soil. The different soils have different benefits. Volcanic soil, most civs or most races are going to have a negative settling on it. So you got to keep that in mind. That actually looks like a empty pickup. Yep. So we can go pick that one up. Cool. We ended up finishing our first building here. So we're making just a little bit of extra money. We'll go ahead and build out I think the specialist training center, so we can start building some more units, some better units, and we'll go from there. We'll make this episode a little bit longer. Like I said, okay, so we met the Sci-Fish now. So now we have relations with them. So we come in peace, allow us to help you, tell us about this task. So he basically gave us a mission. So we come over here, we kill 4 units, and then he's gonna give us 10 relations with him. We'll get 10 influence, which is basically the resource you use to interact with NPC factions and also other commanders. We get 30 science and 43 production, which I think that goes to your closest city. Now you'll notice over here, we are 20 favor away from leveling up. Right now, we are just at neutral. If we declare war on him, we're at war. If we get 20 required favor, which remember, this is gonna give us 10, then we go to peace, and that'll unlock new units for us. So if I can interact with him really quickly. I haven't met his base yet, have I? I think that's an archaeology site. Ah, he's right here. So you can see once we're at peace level with him, we can spend our influence to start buying some units and some mods. And so as you get up, you can start getting some really crazy good units. Like this is the top tier unit, 50 HP, 32 movement, 6 shields, 12 damage, Psycho Rebirth. Target dead Sci-Fish and return it to life. Oh, nice. Interesting. So, you know, I like to be friendly with NPC factions. The other options, you just kill them off, but... now this is an anomalous site. You basically take your hero here and you spend the time doing this and you get the XP boost, if you remember us talking about that before. So we will go ahead and move. This guy isn't strong enough to probably fight this army by himself. I could remove all of these guys. I think they get XP from being here. The other thing is there is potentially combat that happens. So I think for now we're just gonna chill like this. And we'll probably just wait 3 turns because we got 10 turns to actually take care of that. So we don't need to rush it out right now. Okay, you just keep going and exploring. You're going and grabbing 40 production, which is gonna maybe finish that building, I don't know. Another spawner here. This is a charge station, fully restores all move points of units that go on it. So next turn, if we go and put our turn here, if I had enough movement this turn, I would basically get all of my move points back, which would be really, really nice. So you're just gonna chill for now. Yeah, that actually immediately finished our building. Nice. The other thing is you can always just generate knowledge or just generate energy just to speed either of those up if you're lacking. So we're gonna go ahead and spend 70 energy and start picking up another Transcendent, which is gonna take 3 turns. Tech, you got 1 turn there, and then we're gonna go knock out the colonizers, please. Discovered Sci-Fish dwelling. Okay, cool. In turn. So these first few turns are gonna go by pretty quickly because there's not a whole lot for us to do. Just kind of send our scouts around. Let's see, you are a broadcast station, which is also occupied. Gives you extra influence if you clear it out. More Sci-Fish. Biochemical applications. So we got our first group of mods. Let's go ahead and go for volatile afflictions. So with those extra mods, we can go ahead and give you the acidic composition, which uses Cosmite. Cosmite is a resource that was on these particular little things right here. So once you have that Cosmite in one of your colonies, then you generate 8, you know. So right now we're only making 5 per turn, and any of the mods and stuff all use Cosmite, and some of the top tier units also require Cosmite. So I will go ahead and spend 8 Cosmite and 16 gold to give him acidic, which basically just gives 1 extra armor, removing 1 extra armor. And that's not a bad move for, I probably don't want it on those guys. Honestly, let's put it on these guys. And we're gonna mod all the equivalent units because these guys are gunk spitting. We could put it on these guys, but the thing is, it does cost. The other thing is you can see additionally this mod grants 10% increased damage, which isn't particularly useful, number 1. But number 2, like, it's just, I don't know. I don't think it's worth the money right now, personally. So nurturing is done. So we're gonna go ahead and go for our colonizer, which is gonna allow us to get more colonies. The other thing to notice is you'll see all these territories all have these little icons next to them. That means we hit population 4, which means we can actually annex a sector for this colony. So we're going to go ahead and annex this. And so then next turn, this will now be part of our territory, which is nice. We can also now prime one of these two doctrines, which... also build a brood cluster here too. You're only generating 17 food. 20%, or what is it, 25% extra food isn't really that significant. So I think instead, give me the extra XP, man. So you see it's going to take 2 turns for us to actually prime this. So we won't get any benefit from that for 2 turns. Okay, might as well go here and get the extra movement. And we're basically just looking for people. All right, cool. So you're Syndicate. Hello, nice to meet you. He hates us because he does not like Kir'ko. That's great. We're going to go ahead and spend some of our influence, 10 influence, to go ahead and compliment him, just to make him like us a little bit better. We can't see his strategy yet. We can't see his secret technology, but we do know he's compassionate. So he's actually probably going to be pretty friendly with us because we start off with a little bit of a lower capability. Essentially, that is like how strong your military is. In addition to that, you see known relations. So Kir'ko, we're accepted. Syndicate, we're neutral. So that means if we have any Syndicate colonies inside our empire, they're not going to get any bonuses of happiness or any negatives towards happiness because, you know. So if we treat Syndicate really, really bad, you know, our Syndicate colonies aren't going to like us as much. Kind of makes sense. Other things we can do is eventually we can get non-aggression pacts. We can declare war. We can do pronouncements every once in a while. Or we can declare war without a casus belli. But we're not going to end up planning on doing that anytime soon. So this was his territory. Okay. So that means we might want to come settle over in this direction with our first colony. So with that being said, let's go actually take you this way. Just because we kind of want to cut him off this way. Empire task unlocked. Cool. So once we do 5 mods, we could potentially get this. And if we're the first commander to complete this task, we get a hero. This is basically a doctrine that we could launch. We're not really too worried about that. We also got an Empire task here, which gives us a happiness reward if we're the first one, and then Warmonger for killing. Cool, cool, cool. And then we discovered a trait. Cool. So those Empire things you can keep track here. We're going to probably kind of, you know, bypass most of those. I didn't go through any of this, but this is the diplomacy screen here. These are our operations. This is, you know, our objectives. This is all our different colonies. These are all our different armies. And then these are all our different unit templates. So if we wanted to, you know, create new templates, but we're not going to worry about any of those. And then we got our text up there, and I think everything else we talked about. This is our overall happiness, our popular support. If we're in the negative, obviously, you know, we get penalties. If we're in the positive, you know, good things happen. Then tactile operation points. These are what we use in combat. And then these are our strategic operations. So if we had, like, let's say 4 strategic operation points, then we could launch that in 1 turn. Instead, it's going to take us 2 turns. And that's how many doctrine slots, which we have 0, 1. So that's basically everything going on. This just also ends your turn here. Is there anything else we need to talk about? No, I think this is a pretty good setup. So like I said, this one was pretty tutorial based. Future episodes, we're going to be a lot quicker in the game. And we'll probably still, I mean, I'm definitely going to talk about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it to the most part, but some of this other basic stuff we're just going to kind of bypass. So hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like, comment, let me know what you think. As always, hit the subscribe button, join the game, comment, share your support. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another episode. Bye everyone.